Hello guys, it is Bruce here. I am very glad to see you. Today I am going to tell you 5 secrets on how to fail at 3D. I know, what a great idea. This is how Suit looked in the submission for Alternate Realities challenge. I wanted to improve it as much as I possibly can, so I can see how much my skill has improved after this incredible 4 days of work for challenge. As total beginner, all I was using for modeling was polygon pen, inner extrude and extrude. Latter which I added details with atomic array. After creating my submission for Alternate Realities challenge, I wanted to see what I will be able to accomplish with this idea without any restrictions. I started with modeling new Suit for hero of this story. So my tip number 1 is, don't learn about character creation before you start doing it. As a total noob to this, my only goal was to make Suit look as good as I can and as detailed as I can. As you will see by the end, it will be very detailed, and yet, in the beginning I wanted to add even more details. Of course with it comes some downsides, like for example, in the end you might find out that it will be unusable. As I found out after 40 hours of work. I know what a wise man I am. My second tip is, start creating complex suits and details with low to no experience at modeling. Prior to that I have made couple models of flying cars and some very simple shapes, as is evident from the suit that character had in the first place. Now I was making super complex suit with hundreds of details that I imagined I will be able to animate and make them move. That would look so cool. I am very ambitious man. So I was learning and creating concept on the fly, which is actually my tip number 3. Do not create concept design or think the whole process through. This gives amazing opportunity to fail miserably, after 40 hours of pure work and effort. Did I say that for the second time? Imagine how frustrated I was back then. Actually don't imagine, I was very frustrated. What a great way to spend your week. I had only idea that I want Suit to look heavy, powerful and like it was made from leftovers, but still look cool and functional. All of that would fit into story that I made up in my head for that character and scene and world. Actually I decided to create short films and tell that story bit by bit as I learned 3D. First episode will come soon. It takes tremendous amount of time, but I am very excited and determined to bring this story to life. Back to Suit model, which is like small percentage of all work that need to be done for the scene to work. The main problem here is that, I have not taken into account polygon count, or restrictions to movement that 3D model has in animation. I did not know about them as my knowledge is still too small for that. So my tip number 4 is, learn only from your experience. Of course there are hundreds of tutorials and great courses online, but who needs them, when you can sit and guess what went wrong, and model does not rig properly, or rig doesn't allow you to animate it. Thanks me wishing to save some time, and make it quick, I spent countless hours trying to understand why when I connect Suit to rig and body, program shuts down. Only through trial and error I was able to deduct that Suit is just too heavy to bind properly. Its weight was 7.5 gigabytes, instead of initial 85 megabytes for this model. After that through trial and error I separated Suit into 32 pieces and bounded them with body and rig. All this work was done just because I was not able to accept my failure and just make new Suit from scratch. Even though I knew it will not work in the scene, I just could not accept it. Now it could technically work, but not in practice as I did not count in that Suit bends in all the wrong places. I am pretty sure that this can be fixed and there are ways, it is just that I don't know them. I already had to accept that I have to connect all the parts in one suite, so I will not be able to animate each of them separately. There was no way for me to make it look as I imagined in my head. The good thing was, that difference between old Suit and new one, was very obvious, and at least that made my happy. That was a big accomplishment for me, and helped my define strength to start over. So after all this work, I finally accepted my faith and started creating new Suit while I analyzed my mistakes and took all of them into consideration. This time it was a success in the end and I was able to make it work half properly for animation. It is far from perfect, but I had to learn and accept my limitations, which helped me to temper my expectations and create scene according to them. I am very happy that I failed at 3D and have learned so much from it. Oh sorry, I promised there will be 5 tips on how to fail, so here is the bonus tip. Always think of destruction. So here is some destruction I made for scene, so I have more details in it, and to get some rest, mentally recover from all this work. As some of you might know from previous videos, I love destruction. I love the suit I got in the end. Maybe one day I will have enough knowledge to fix it, and use it. But I also loved new version that I made, and I am glad that soon I will be able to share it. I must be honest, it was very hard for me to give up on this suit, as when I first finished it, it was my best work yet. I was very proud of it. I was proud I did not give up on it, even though there were so many problems I had to solve and did not know how to. Of course, the fact that my life depends on actually succeeding as 3D artist helped me to not give up and keep up good work day after day. But I think sip of love for art was also quite helpful. I also want to share some actually useful tips. Number 1 that helped me is doing 3D every day, even if for 10 minutes. For my first 2 months in 3D, that was the maximum I was capable of, especially considering results were not satisfying at all. But as soon as I finished first tutorial, that is published on my channel, I knew I fell in love with this kind of art and that I want to become 3D artist. Second tip that actually helped me is to create plan for daily routine. I always hated any planning, especially on paper, but after failing at almost any great opportunity in my life because of lack of discipline, I knew I have to change for this dream of mine. I am determined to accomplish it and become a great 3D artist. I can tell by now, I have accomplished something. It is not much, it is not legendary yet, but it is something. So if you also dream to become 3D artist, don't give up. You can do it. Just do it every day, even if it is one stroke, one frame, it is still one step more towards your goal. Share with me your story in the comments, so we can encourage each other on this path. I will post more videos about my journey, so subscribe if you are interested. God, I love this engines. They came as a random idea, but I absolutely fell in love with them. I really captured the look I wanted, heavy but functional. I already started dreaming on how cool it will look in motion. To see that, I was ready to put in the work. As you can see, I separately cloned details with symmetry tool in hopes to have at least so many details being available for animation. Of course, the more I got done, the better I understood how huge of a task I have chosen for myself, and that I need to temper my expectations and be realistic. This is also part of experience and job. I need to learn to be realistic about my resources and time to complete projects I have in mind. I put so much love and care into every detail, which made it only more difficult to give up on it. I am sure that any professional will see many of my mistakes while I was modeling, and will be able to tell how I could have saved a lot of time and effort. But as I said before, I made a very wise decision to do this without learning about whole process first. Maybe sometimes the journey itself is worth it too, not only the result. The moment I tried to rig this model and animate, I faced new problem with Mixamo model. The thing was, I decided to merge everything together to make it work at least that way. I don't know if that was the best decision, but it was one I made. Mixamo models come in parts, so when I connected them and they lost previous weight, model also changed its position a bit. So I had to deal with this too, before I will be able to even determine if this method will work for me. Eventually I made it work, and saw the result, which was awful. Suit bended in all the wrong places. Now there was only one thing I could do, abandon this suit, analyze whole experience and create completely new one, which I did. Here is finalized second suit, and a small glimpse of new one and what is to come in the future. I just love this engines. Of course, as anyone can see, this model would never work in animation, at least as I understood the process. Without experience and knowledge I have after this, I was not able to predict what details are not suitable for my purposes. Now I can, at least I can do that much better than before. I really hope you enjoyed this video, as I really put my heart into this experience. So if you feel like it, like this video and subscribe. Now at the end, a bit of future. This was my 5 tips on how to fail in 3D modeling. I have a lot of cool material on my Patreon, so check it out if you are interested. I post there every day. This was Bruce, have a great day, and I am out.